Okay, let's get into this. Picture this scene. A will reading. It should be, solemn, maybe a bit quiet.
Right. Closure, perhaps.
Exactly. But for the woman we're focusing on today, Nora, it just explodes. It turns into this moment of, well, pure public cruelty, all disguised as a final inheritance.
It really does. It feels like it wasn't just bad news. It was strategically cruel, designed to inflict the most pain possible. It just shatters everything for her life, her marriage, her past.
Totally. So today we're diving into a really intense personal story. It comes from a YouTube transcript, and it's raw, very unflinching. It's all about family betrayal, hidden truths, and incredibly how someone found strength, real value in a place where everyone else just saw nothing. Worthlessness.
Yeah, and our mission really with this deep dive is to follow Nora's journey, to understand all the layers of this betrayal, uncover this really startling discovery she makes, and see what it's a very specific, dramatic situation, but what it can teach all of us, about overcoming what feels like total injustice, finding your own power in really unexpected ways.
So the story kicks off right there at the will reading. Nora's husband, Henry, has just died, and his mother, Judith, is there.
Of course she is.
Right. And she actually raises a champagne glass, can you believe it? Toasting Henry because he knew who truly matters. And somehow the people in the room actually applauded that.
It's chilling. And you've got Nora, Henry's wife, for 20 years just standing there. She gets her envelope, but the source makes it really clear her heart's in pieces, obviously. But the main feeling isn't just grief, it's sheer rage.
And when you hear what's in the will, you get it immediately. The terms were just devastatingly clear. The house, the home where Nora lived with Henry for 2 decades, left entirely to Henry's mother, Judith.
Wow. And for Nora, what did she get?
She got a shack. A rundown, forgotten shack by some lake she didn't even know existed, falling apart, totally neglected.
That's just brutal. It really underscores how deep that feeling of betrayal must have gone.
Oh, absolutely. And the account fills in some backstory. Nora quit her job years ago, managed all their finances. She even used her own inheritance from her father to pay bills when Henry was in debt.
And all the while, she's putting up with Judith.
For 20 years. Relentless cruelty from Judith. The source gives examples like Judith calling Nora cold, dull, childless, purposeless, spreading rumors. And this one detail is just horrific, serving Nora's dinner plate after the family dogs, just to humiliate her.
That's unbelievably cruel. So, yeah, at that will reading, from Nora's viewpoint, Judith won everything.
Everything. The house, the furniture Nora picked, the rugs, the painted walls, and Nora. Publicly tossed aside with what they called a moldy shack in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, so then she has to actually go to this place.
Right. She describes driving down this bumpy dirt road, and every single bump feels like a cruel reminder of how far away she's being pushed, physically and emotionally, from the life she knew.
The contrast must have been sickening. One minute she's in her master bedroom, the next.
She sees this shack. Crooked, broken windows, peeling paint, sagging roof. It looks exactly like the punishment it feels like.
And going inside probably wasn't any better.
Worse. Thick air, mildew, the smell of bitterness, she says. Creaking floorboards, screaming, "You don't belong!" She's just standing there, suitcase in hand, the will's words burned into her mind.
And just abandoned, essentially.
Totally. No mattress, no note from Henry, nothing. Just silence. And Judith's voice echoing from the funeral. If he'd listened to me earlier, you would have never stepped into that house.
God, that first night must have been unbearable. Just consumed by the injustice, the betrayal, believing Henry planned it all.
But then, right at rock bottom, something catches her eye. A door. At the back of the living room.
Okay.
It's locked, which is weird in itself given the state of the place. But it also looks preserved, like it doesn't match the decay around it.
Interesting. So she's stuck there, trying to survive.
Pretty much. Cleaning just enough, washing the sink, finding a dusty chair. But that locked door keeps drawing her attention. She tries a knife, nothing doing. It's got a proper padlock, not just a flimsy closet lock.
So questions start popping up. Why lock something here? In this wreck? Why didn't Henry take it? Or why didn't Judith get this too if she got everything else?
Exactly. It starts feeling less random, more significant. Is it like the final twist of the knife or something else entirely?
And then something weird happens.
Yeah, one night she wakes up, hears this slow creaking sound, grabs a flashlight, goes into the living room, and the locked door looks different.
How so?
The handles turn slightly, the padlock looks looser. Her heart starts pounding. She gets this feeling, this intuition, that the answer to everything is behind that door.
Okay, so she needs to get in there.
Right. She needs help. She heads to the nearby village.
And runs into someone.
An old man. He actually recognizes her, Henry's wife.
Well,
Confirms she got the lake house.
No, so Henry used to go there.
Apparently, quite often. The old man remembers him buying wood, tools. Says Henry called the cottage a place just for her.
For her? Meaning Judith, presumably?
That's what the old man thought, naturally. But Nora starts thinking, what if he met her?
Nora. But that doesn't make sense either, does it? Why leave her in this state if he meant it for her? It's confusing.
Very. But that little flicker of doubt plus the mystery door, it drives her. The next day, she borrows a sledgehammer.
This is it then.
This is it. She breaks the padlock, fingers shaking the wood splinters, and the second the door swings open, the smell changes completely. The source says it's like stepping into another time, another world.
Wow. And inside.
Total shock. It doesn't match the shack at all. Doesn't match Henry's public image either. She steps inside and just freezes.
What does she see?
It's an art studio. Perfectly preserved, untouched, clean air, faintly scented, this feeling of sacred silence.
An art studio in that shack.
Yeah. Walls lined with fine wood, acoustic insulation, proper lighting, an easel, canvases, paints on glass shelves, silent ventilation, even brushes still damp, like a shrine just sealed off.
And she never knew?
Never. Henry never told her. Judith never mentioned it. Nobody. Total secret.
But that's not even the biggest secret, is it?
Not even close. Pinned to the wall, there's a spreadsheet. Names she doesn't recognize at first glance.
Until
she looks closer. Her heart starts racing. Because these aren't just any paintings. These are originals. Chagall, Rothko, Kandinsky, a small Matisse, a Miro etching.
Oh my God, in the shack.
In the hidden studio inside the shack. And the proof is all there. Certificates of authenticity, some still sealed to the frames.
So Henry, he secretly built this massive $1 million art collection.
Exactly. Bought it, preserved it, locked it away. Terrified, it seems, of it falling into the wrong hands, specifically his mother's hands. And now, all of it, this hidden empire, belongs to Nora.
That's staggering. But there was something else too, wasn't there? Something more personal.
Yeah. Deeper in the studio, there's an easel with a canvas covered by a cloth. She lifts it. It's a portrait of her, Nora, sitting on the porch of their old house, reading. Soft lines, but really intentional.
He painted her.
He did. There were two more, one of her sleeping, one smiling, and even one of her doing something totally mundane, dyeing her hair in the mirror. Intimate moments.
So he was painting her in secret all this time. Why? Guilt? Love?
The source suggests maybe all of the above. Or maybe he knew that after Judith was done tearing her down, Nora would need this physical proof that she was seen, that she was loved, even if he couldn't say it.
So she's sitting there surrounded by millions in art, these deeply personal portraits, but still confused. Why the secrecy? Why lock it away here?
Right. She feels poor in answers, the text says. But then she finds it, an envelope, at the foot of the easel, addressed simply, for Nora.
Ah, the letter.
The letter. It's short, but it explains everything. Henry wrote, he knew his mother's greed. He knew she couldn't be trusted with anything precious. So he hid it all in the one place she despised, the place she'd never look.
With Nora. In the shack.
Exactly. He wasn't punishing Nora. He was afraid for her. He knew Judith would strip her life bare, leaving the art at the mansion. Judith's greed would consume it, and Nora would get nothing. He chose the worthless shack because Judith would never go near it.
Wow. That reframes everything.
Completely.
Yeah.
And his last words in the letter, you're the only one I trusted with what mattered most. It's all yours. Nora describes those words just piercing your chest.
And there were documents, too.
Oh, yeah. Meticulously organized. Purchase receipts, international certificates, massive insurance policies, proof that nobody knew about this except Henry. And now Nora.
So that moment, it must have been a turning point.
A huge one. Clarity hits her. Her first real decision since the funeral. She's not selling. Not yet. First, she's going to learn everything. Prepare herself. So that when Judith does find out what she lost, it'll be way too late.
Ooh. Okay, so she locks the studio door that night.
With steady hands, the source says. Lies down on that awful air mattress in the cold shack, but she's smiling.
Yeah.
Outwardly, she has nothing, but inside. She has worth, secrets, power, the power of choice. And she feels that the revenge is just beginning.
So the next day, she wakes up differently.
Yeah. Sore, probably, but focused. She has a purpose now. Makes coffee, goes straight back into the studio.
And just immerses herself.
Totally. Every folder, certificate, tag. She sees the obsession, the almost fanatic care Henry took, and it becomes clear it wasn't thieves he feared. It was his mother.
Which brings Judith back into focus, but with this new understanding of Henry's fear.
Right, publicly so refined, privately just venomous. The source talks about years of small daily doses of abuse, calling Nora's womb lazy, saying she'd leave no legacy, her presence was bland, her food too homemade, and Henry just passively saying that's how she is.
That's heartbreaking. And there were specific awful moments, too.
Yeah, the tea comment, even her tea is bland, just like her presence. And Nora remembers seeing blood the next day. She was trying to get pregnant then and felt her body was just rejecting that whole toxic environment. And then at the funeral, Judith snatching the flower, whispering, "Don't pretend you're mourning. The only thing you lost was a status you never deserved."
Just brutal. Nora must have felt like she was living like a ghost in her own house.
Exactly, like a guest, sacrificing, thinking that's what love was, hoping things would change. They never did. And now Judith had the house, the story, the name, as if Nora never existed.
But now,
Yeah.
Nora has the collection, the secret weapon.
Right. She realizes she's not playing chess blindfolded anymore. She's studying every piece, every name, learning the value of the art, and through that, learning her own hidden value. The value Judith tried so hard to erase.
And she starts taking action.
Immediately. Looking up art appraisal courses online, watching expert videos, comparing signatures, organizing the studio with gloves, tags, spreadsheets on her laptop, all in secret, all in silence.
So her revenge isn't going to be loud and messy like Judith's style.
No, it's crystallizing into something else. Elegant, precise, strategic. Outside, the house is still falling apart. Inside, she feels like she's being reborn. Henry left her out of the public eye so Judith couldn't touch what truly mattered. He gave Nora power, cold, calculated, elegant, slow power. Relentless.
So weeks pass. She's turned the studio into her own world, cleaning, organizing.
Yep, wiping floors, cleaning frames, alphabetizing, numbering tags. She's becoming an expert in secret.
Diving into the art world online. Valuations, private collections, auctions.
Right. And the truth about Henry's actions just becomes undeniable. He built an empire in a shack. He trusted her with his most precious secret. Every painting she feels screamed it.
So she makes a plan, takes photos.
Really good photos of 3 key pieces, ones with visible certificates in perfect shape.
And then the crucial step, anonymity.
Creates a brand new email address.
Yeah.
Neutral name. Untraceable. Can't link it back to Henry, the house, or her.
Smart. And she reaches out.
Yep. Short, polite, direct emails. Galleries in London, Paris, a high-end consulting firm in New York. Just says she's responsible for a small private collection. Deceased relative. Needs guidance on appraisal. Maybe representation.
And then the wait.
The wait. Third day, a reply pops up.
Who from?
Grace Del Mar. Balthus Gallery, Manhattan. Prestigious. The email's short, direct. Your collection may hold historical significance. We'll send an expert within days. Discreet, confidential.
Wow. That's huge. Balthus, they deal with multi-million-dollar stuff. They're coming to her. In the shack.
Her hand is literally trembling as she reads it. She knows the gallery's reputation. This is serious.
So she preps. Cleans the studio like crazy.
Like a shrine, the source says. Repositions paintings, makes coffee, gets a folder of documents ready, even rehearses her introduction.
And the expert arrives.
Black car, dark suit, looks totally out of place, shakes her hand, gets right down to business. Let's get to what matters.
And his reaction in the studio.
Confirms everything. Eyes just lock onto the art. Takes notes, muttering, incredible, remarkable condition.
So he confirms the value.
Absolutely. After about an hour, he sits her down, asks if she really gets what she has, confirms authenticity, massive value, says that one Chagall is worth more than a mansion in Beverly Hills.
And Nora.
Just a faint smile, not enduring anymore. Winning. Quietly winning.
He must have been impressed by more than just the money.
Oh yeah. The condition, the traceability. It's a collector's dream. He asks if there are more pieces.
And Nora plays it cool.
Very cool. Says yes, but she needs to reveal them slowly. Emotional attachment, the expert gets it, respects the need for discretion, calls it the most beautiful word.
So he leaves, promising a report and offer for curatorship.
Right, and Nora's sitting there on her air mattress, house still ugly. But inside, she's this powerhouse nobody sees coming. She's already imagining Judith finding out.
And speaking of Judith, she shows up.
Inevitably, unannounced, looking perfect, of course, fresh hair dye, lipstick maybe a bit too red, tailored dress.
And that fake sweet tone.
Dripping with it. Nora, darling, thought I'd see how you're doing in your new little cottage. Like honeyed poison, Nora thinks. She smiles back, that kind of smile where you're biting your tongue but still offering tea. Stomach in knots.
Judith just walks in like she owns the place.
Like an inspector. Peering at corners, touching walls, glancing at Nora's makeshift couch with utter disgust, making comments about Henry being eccentric, attached to rustic and ugly things, places, people, clearly assuming Nora's destitute and alone.
And diminishing Nora's past life, suggesting this simple life is better for her.
Exactly. Less responsibility. After Nora ran everything for 20 years, it's just pure erasure.
And then she twists the knife about the old house.
Oh, yeah. Casually drops that she's redecorating Nora's old bedroom. Found it way too tacky, putting in an electric fireplace. Then adds, feels like no one ever lived there before. Just a vicious jab.
But then she spots the locked door.
Yep. Eyes narrow. That little room in the back, it's locked. You've always been so private, haven't you? Suspicion kicks in.
And Nora's response.
Calm. Measured. Oh, just old junk. Haven't even gone in there yet. Smells like mildew. Doesn't change her tone. Doesn't give Judith the satisfaction of seeing a crack.
Judith just stares.
For 2 long seconds, trying to sniff out any value, even here. But she finds nothing. She leaves, and Nora just breathes. Feels like she spent an hour with a beast in human skin, but she won. Judith left thinking Nora was at rock bottom. Perfect.
So the gallery report comes through, full confirmation.
Full clarity. Spreadsheets. 3 pieces worth over $1.2 million each. Plus the unseen ones are highly valuable. Collectors will bid like crazy privately.
It's not just money, is it? It's power.
Power and prestige. The very thing Judith worships and used against Nora. Now Nora holds it.
And she gets the legal side sorted.
With Grace Delmayer's help, yes.
Yeah.
Sets up a shell company, anonymous legal entity, totally separate. Registers the collection under confidential curatorship. Experts manage it, keep it secret.
Layers of protection, contracts, corporate shielding.
Every transaction under the new identity. Untraceable to Nora, Henry, or the shack. Everything Judith thought she had is slipping away, and she has zero clue.
Then the first offer comes in.
10 days later, Swiss collector. €850,000 for 1 piece.
Grace asks if she wants to sell or wait.
And Nora says, wait. Calmly. The first sale needs to be symbolic, unforgettable. Revenge isn't just cash, it's timing. It's the perfect moment.
While Judith is busy playing queen in Nora's old house.
Right. Giving interviews to the local paper. My son wanted me to care for the house. He never trusted his wife. Wearing Nora's pearl necklace. Claiming Nora's history, house, pain.
But Nora's got this quiet triumph happening.
A totally different smile. Signing initial contracts, money hitting the shell company account. Realizing Henry's secret fortune is funding her luxurious new reality while Judith claws at her past.
And she starts to enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. Checks into a luxury resort in Italy, buys a new car, a watch she knows Judith coveted but couldn't get, a dress identical to one Judith was denied years ago, and sleeps peacefully. No fear, no heaviness, no surveillance.
And then, the country club.
The perfect opportunity. Finds out the club Judith practically lived at, treated like her personal kingdom, is quietly for sale.
She couldn't resist that, surely.
Not a chance. Buys a majority stake through her anonymous entity, takes control of the management.
And changes the rules.
Quietly. Next board meeting. New rule gets passed. Buried in the fine print. Members with documented hostile behavior towards staff or family can be removed. No notice needed.
That's elegant.
Yeah.
The best revenge is when they don't even know they're losing.
Exactly. No confrontation, no drama from her side, just quiet, strategic moves, all while Judith is oblivious.
And that club was Judith's sanctuary, where she ruled, gossiped, destroyed people, said Nora wasn't club material.
Refused to pour her champagne once. And now, in that exact place, Judith's about to be kicked out.
So the new management, Nora's people, basically review the record.
And find the hostile behavior evidence, easily.
Yeah, and the letter goes out.
That afternoon.
Yeah.
Elegant, gold-embossed letterhead. Ms. Judith Meyer. Immediate membership termination. Conduct incompatible with the values of the club.
Yeah. Ouch. And the fallout.
Nora hears Judith completely lost it, yelled at the admin staff, demanded answers, invoked tradition. But it's done. Signed, sealed, no appeal.
And where's Nora while this is happening?
Having breakfast? Seaside hotel, south of France. White robe, truffle eggs, fresh juice, infinity pool. Reading about it on her phone.
And the society pages pick it up.
Small piece. Judith Meyer leads prominent golf club. Internal controversy. Inappropriate behavior. Loss of influence.
Wow. The lesson learned. No need to shout, just wait. Plan, act decisively. Revenge served cold, silent with breakfast by the sea.
Right. But Judith doesn't just disappear. She goes quiet again after the club thing. Vanishes for a week.
Plotting, boiling.
Exactly. Nora knows it. She's bracing for the counterattack. Day 8, it lands. An email to the shell company. Subject fraud, an unlawful possession report, signed by Judith's lawyer.
The predictable attack, manipulation claims.
All of it. Henry was manipulated. Art was Meyer family estate. Nora's an opportunistic widow exploiting his illness.
But no proof, just malice.
Zero proof.
Yeah.
Just digging, contacting old associates, even Nora's ex-boyfriend, anything to find dirt.
And the public performance continues.
Oh, yeah. Tearful Facebook posts about legacy and exploitation, crying at church, asking for prayers, saying the club was brought by a vindictive woman, handing out copies of the original will as proof Henry loved his mother best.
It's all about her ego, isn't it? She can't stand Henry left something valuable to Nora.
Pure wounded ego. Not about justice at all. Nora sees it clearly. Her strategy. Deep breath. Wait. Noise loses to silence.
So she sends the dossier.
Replies to the lawyer with that devastatingly thorough 23-page file. Every certificate, date, legal proof. Shows the collection is Nora's. Henry left it to her deliberately, and it's legally untouchable now.
How does Judith react to that?
Calls Nora immediately. Nora lets it go to voicemail. Listens later. Judith's voice is shaking with fury. You think you've won. This isn't over. I'm still a Meyer.
And Nora
Smiles. Turns up her music. While Judith is screaming alone in Nora's old house, Nora's relaxing in a hotel paid for by the one thing Judith never earned. True trust. The trust Henry clearly didn't have in his own mother.
But Judith has one more move. The worst one.
Yeah. Another week of silence. Nora senses something really filthy is coming.
The lawsuit arrives. Concealment of assets. Claims Henry used family funds.
Legally absurd, no basis. But the attachment, that's the real bomb. A letter, supposedly from Henry, dated 3 years back, scanned, in his handwriting, saying his mother should safeguard his artistic and symbolic heritage.
And Judith sends another message.
An audio message, gloating. I knew you were hiding it. He never trusted you. Proof you were just a housekeeper.
That must have actually hurt Nora, seeing his handwriting.
For a second, yeah. Deep pain. The handwriting is real. The tone is cold. Part of her still looks for some explanation, some love.
But then she looks closer.
Takes a breath, reads it again. The paper looks crumpled, odd. Wording's not quite right. And the date. It hits her. It's the month Henry was hospitalized, on heavy morphine after surgery.
No way he wrote that then.
Exactly. Calls her lawyers. Forensic report confirms it. Fake. Body text cobbled together from old notebooks. Signature lifted from a loan contract. Judith forged her dead son's writing to destroy Nora.
That's monstrous.
It's the breaking point for Nora. Something shifts. Pain turns to pure disgust. Fear evaporates, replaced by absolute conviction. Judith humiliated her for years, but now Nora holds the ultimate weapon. The undeniable truth, backed by proof.
So what does she do with the forgery proof? Go public?
Nothing, at first. Silence, used wisely, hurts more. But the truth has a way of getting out.
So Judith doesn't lose in court.
Never gets that far. She loses her reputation. Completely.
How does the report get out?
It leaks, apparently from Judith's own law firm. Not Nora.
Oh, the irony. And it spreads.
Like wildfire. WhatsApp groups, collector forums, society gossip. Everyone finds out. The grieving widow forged her dead son's letter to steal the inheritance he hid to protect his wife.
The social fallout must have been devastating for Judith.
Total collapse. Not a criminal, but worse in her world. Pathetic.
Yeah.
Friends vanish, invites dry up, removed from the charity board.
And the kicker is, Judith knows Nora didn't do anything directly.
Exactly. No public statement, no confrontation. Judith's world, built on lies, just imploded under the weight of the truth.
While Nora builds a completely new life.
New house, ocean view, whirlpool tub, new books, comfy mattress, cuts her hair short, dyes it dark brown. Physical changes mirroring the internal shift.
Finds peace.
Real peace. Sleeps soundly, listens to classical music in the bath. Not a different woman, the source says, but finally belonging only to herself.
And she sees Henry's legacy differently now.
Yeah. He dropped the bomb, but in the right place. He trusted her with the art, the papers, the truth of his secret life. Even without saying it while alive, he gave her everything she needed to start over, completely on her own terms.
And Judith?
Alone in the old house, Nora's old house. Dark, quiet, windows shut, garden overgrown. Rarely goes out, gets food delivered. Suspicious glances from neighbors.
Then Nora's final feeling.
A smile. Not because Judith lost, exactly, but because Nora won, without becoming like her. The revenge was clean, cold, final. Wow. What a story. This deep dive, it really shows how something that looks like a crushing end can actually hold the start of something totally unexpected, totally transformative. It really highlights the power of hidden resources, doesn't it? Both material, like, a secret art collection.
Right, and the internal kind. Resilience, patience, thinking strategically when you feel completely backed into a corner by injustice.
And that's why this resonates, I think, for you listening. We live in a world that often values the loud, the visible. But what happens when the real strength, the actual power, is hidden away? When injustice feels overwhelming, this story suggests that finding that quiet, strategic path, that's not just effective revenge. It's maybe the most profound way to reclaim yourself.
Yeah, it's about self-possession in the end.
Absolutely. This deep dive uncovered a fortune in a forgotten shack, missed by everyone, especially the person who thought she'd already won. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden strength, what hidden resource might you have right now that others, or maybe even you yourself, are completely overlooking?